All right, so we're getting down to the end here of the administration piece of our training for the Shoreware Director. We're going to go back into call control. So again, if you're looking at administration, you'll see call control is the 5th option down. And we're going to take a look at a couple of things in this section. The first one we're going to look at is what's called a route point. Now, a route point is named for what it does. It's basically allowing you to route a call to an individual, to a group, to an auto attendant, to anything in the system that needs to have the ability maybe to turn on and off, like be on a schedule, or maybe you need a mailbox for something where you don't want to use a license. So let me just kind of talk about the route point, and there's a lot of different usages for the route points. And you're just going to have to kind of choose what you would use it for. I'll give you a couple of examples of what we've used them for in the past. So in this case, I'm going to call this customer service. And I'm going to say mailbox, so MB for mailbox. So this is just one of the applications that you could use the route point for. I'm going to give it a different extension number. And the reason why we like to use route points instead of work groups is, remember, work groups require you to have a license for that voicemail notification. In this case, we don't need a license, so we can actually use the route point to our advantage to create a mailbox for a department where we can forward that message to an individual. So this is kind of an example that we'll use for a route point. But again, a route point is anything that needs to route between an A to B type environment that maybe needs a schedule. Another example of where we've used route points is when we have a schedule that has three distinct times, like 8 to 4, and then they have a swing shift from 4 to 7, and then they close at 7 to the next day. And we need to come up with a third route, basically for a different message in their auto attendant. So we would use a route point for that. So let's just look at the way this works. It's very straightforward, very simple. So we give the route point an extension number. Again, we can give it that DID number if they want to have a direct number that rings the route point. We also have a user group for functionality in case it needs to transfer the call outside the system. Now, the one thing a route point has to have is a server, so we always pick the nearest server. Typically, it's the headquarters server. And again, that mailbox is what we're going to talk about in this example, is now, look, we can set up a mailbox, and of course, we don't want it in the directory. We do want to make it private. So I'm going to go ahead and save this route point now, so now that it's a valid route point. And I'll show you the next step. So here we are. We've got a call stack depth. Remember, call stack is how many calls a extension can take at the same time. In this case, we don't care. It's really going to be one at a time because voicemail doesn't have a limit. So it'll go ahead and take multiple calls with one call stack of 1. Here's the recorded name, like in the workgroup. When we talked about the workgroup mailbox, it's the same option. And this is where we don't really have to use a schedule here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to send all the calls to this box day or night. It's not going to be on and off based on the hours of operation. And in this case, we're going to change this call handling to always to voicemail. So here's the way this will work. We'll go ahead and record a greeting here. We'll sign the assistant. We'll turn on the notification, and we'll go ahead and save this box. So every time I dial extension 300, it's just going to take a message. Now that's great, but we need to get the message to an individual. So what we do is we use this escalation profile to set the ability to send that message to an individual. So we can do one of two things. We can either email them that message so they can go back and check it. And if we do email them, we can actually attach that message to a WAV file. Or what we do in a lot of cases is we'll send it to someone else's voicemail box. So I'll go mailbox here, and I'm going to go ahead and put an extension number like that, 100 for the operator, and I will save that. And then what I'll do is I'll delete that message after forwarding as well, So what happens is the voicemail box takes the message for the customer service department and it forwards it to the operator, and the operator then takes care of that message when she comes in her own mailbox. So it looks like it's a voicemail message from her mailbox, but it's actually a message from the customer service department. So again, route points are kind of a utility player in the short tail. Again, if you have questions about how route points could be used, what functionality, please give us a call and talk to our tech support department, and we will help you understand some of the ways besides what I've kind of given you as examples here of how we could use a route point. So let me go back to the main screen of the route point. I'm going to click on the route point again, and you see it sets up very similar to a hunt group and very similar to a work group. It's got the same settings here for the call handling, and most likely we use route points as an always, and we send it somewhere to an extension, or we send it to a voicemail box. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. We will continue on to the next session.